Why some people stop seeing the machine. I was sitting at my desk at work around 9 in the morning, barely awake, just another normal day. Then this dude walks in wearing a neon construction vest and tells me, "We have 40 couches." And I'm just sitting there thinking, okay, apparently this is what we're doing today. I have always found it interesting how some people can enter a system and immediately understand their place inside it. Not because somebody explained every rule, not because there was some giant instruction manual. They just know. They know where to stand. They know what happens next. They know how everyone moves. And I think that has always fascinated me because my instinct is usually the opposite. I want to stand outside the machine. I want to look at it. Why is this step here? Could this be faster? What is unnecessary? Where is the wasted movement? I naturally try to reverse engineer things, but watching this crew was different. They weren't standing outside the machine. They were already inside it. So we go outside. Furniture everywhere. The captain looks at me and asks, "Which door are we going to have the easiest time getting through?" And honestly, I didn't fully know either. I looked around, thought about it, and pointed. "Let's hit this one." And then everybody moved. The furniture started going through, one person after another, almost like an ant colony, not mindless. Actually the opposite. Everyone knew their role. Everyone knew the rhythm. The whole thing just started flowing. And that was the first weird moment, because I realized I thought I was observing a machine, but the machine was already alive. It wasn't made of metal. It was people. During all this, I'm still noticing random things too, because apparently my brain cannot just exist normally. At one point, I get a ride over in the captain's car. I look over and think, wait, what car is this? It was a redesigned Pacifica, and immediately my brain does what it always does. The bumper, the paint, the interior, pictures, car nerd mode. In the middle of a furniture operation, my brain is still like, that paint looks good. Then something changed. The captain took a piece of paper off his clipboard and handed it to me. "You're going to help us cover floor 4. I remember holding that paper and thinking, damn, this thing just got heavier. Not physically. The paper weighed nothing, but the responsibility did, because before that moment I was watching. Now I was involved. Suddenly I was the person thinking, which units first? Which route makes sense? How do we avoid wasting movement? Who needs to go where? And the weirdest part was that I wasn't even doing the physically hardest part. I was just pointing. But somehow that felt heavier, because when you are carrying the plan, mistakes have somewhere to land. If something goes wrong, it is not floating around anymore. Someone made the decision. Someone chose the route. Someone had the map. And that is where I started thinking about authority. I have never really been attracted to authority for the sake of authority. A title, a position, someone saying, "Listen to me because I am above you." That has always felt strange, but this felt different. Nobody was trying to prove anything. Nobody was trying to dominate anyone. There was just a problem, and someone needed to make the next decision. That was it. The authority wasn't power over people. It was responsibility for keeping reality moving. And the funniest part was watching the crew interact, because they had their own language, not just words, a rhythm, the jokes, the roasting, the timing, the way everyone could talk, laugh, and still keep moving. To me, some of it sounded like a completely different operating system, but they understood each other. They had years of information compressed into tiny interactions. A joke, a look, a phrase, a movement. An outsider hears noise, an insider hears information. I was looking for the blueprint. They already knew how to operate the building, but I still don't completely know where the line is, because there is something beautiful about becoming fluent inside a machine, a crew, a craft, a system. But there is also a question. At what point does adapting to a machine become being owned by it? At what point does mastery become acceptance? I don't know. That day changed the way I look at work, because I walked in thinking I was going to watch a machine, and for a few hours I became one of the parts keeping it alive. Not a perfect machine, not some futuristic technology, just a group of people moving couches through a building, laughing, working, making decisions, keeping things moving. And I still don't know whether that was mastery or surrender. Maybe both. Maybe that is why I kept thinking about it after the couches were gone.